The ship floated in the darkness of space, silent and waiting. Captain Ji-won Kim stood on the bridge of the Dawn's Promise, looking at the massive alien vessel through the window. It was beautiful. The alien ship was 10 times bigger than her ship, covered in lights that changed colors slowly. Blue, then green, then purple. She had never seen anything like it. "They are scanning us again," said Soyeon Lee from her station. She was the engineer, and she knew every system on their ship. "This is the 5th scan in 10 minutes, Ji-won nodded. "Let them look." "We have nothing to hide." Dr. Minji Park walked onto the bridge. She was excited. For 20 years, she had studied the possibility of alien life. Now she was about to meet real aliens. Her hands were shaking, but she tried to stay calm. "Captain, they are ready for us. They want to talk." The screen came alive. An alien face appeared. Ambassador Velkris of the Velthara Concordat looked at them with large dark eyes. The alien had smooth skin that was light blue and a mouth that seemed too small. When Velkris spoke, the translator on their ship changed the words into English. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We welcome you to the greater community." The alien's voice was soft and gentle. "We are pleased to make first contact with your species." Ji-won smiled. "Thank you, Ambassador. We are honored to meet you. This is a great day for humanity." Velkris moved slightly, and Ji-won noticed that the alien seemed nervous. "We have completed our biological scans of your vessel. We must discuss the results. They are unusual." Minji stepped forward. "Is something wrong? Are we sick? Do we carry dangerous diseases?" No, Velkris said quickly. "Your health is good, but our scanners show something we do not understand. According to our classification system, humans are both Class 7 civilians and Class 2 apex predators. This should not be possible. These are opposite categories." The bridge went quiet. Ji-won looked at Minji, confused. "I don't understand. What does that mean?" Velkris made a gesture that might have been the alien version of a worried expression. "Class 7 civilians are intelligent tool users. They build civilizations. They create art and science. Class 2 apex predators are hunters at the top of their food chain. They hunt and kill other creatures for food. In all of galactic history, no species has been both. You are the first." Minji understood now. She tried to explain. "Ambassador, humans evolved as hunters. We are omnivores. We eat both plants and meat. Our ancestors hunted animals for food, but we also developed intelligence. We created tools, language, and civilization. We are both things at the same time." Velkris looked even more worried. "How did you hunt?" "Many ways," Minji said. "But our ancestors were very good at persistence hunting. We would chase animals for hours, sometimes for a whole day. We would follow them until they were too tired to run anymore. Then we would catch them." The alien ambassador moved back from the screen. Other Velthara appeared behind Velkris, talking quickly in their own language. Ji-won could see they were upset about something. "You hunted by chasing?" Velkris asked. "For hours?" "Yes," Minji said. "Humans can run for very long times. We have very good endurance. It is one of our best abilities." Lieutenant Doyun Choi entered the bridge. He was the security chief, young and strong. He had just finished his daily exercise. "Sorry I am late, Captain." "I was running." "Running?" Velkris asked, staring at Doyun. "You were running? For what reason?" Doyun looked confused by the question. "For exercise. I run 10 kilometers every morning. It keeps me healthy." The Velthara on the screen made sounds that the translator could not understand. They seemed to be in distress. Velkris raised one thin arm. 10 kilometers. "You run this distance every day? By choice?" "Yes," Doyun said. "Many humans do. Some run more. Marathons are 42 kilometers. Many people can run that far. Some humans run even longer distances, more than 100 kilometers. Velkris stood up quickly. The ambassador was breathing fast. "This is what prey animals do when they flee for their lives. You do this for pleasure?" "All of you can do this?" Ji-won started to understand the problem. "Ambassador, humans are not dangerous to you. We are peaceful. We come here as friends." "You may be peaceful now," Velkris said quietly, "but you are persistence hunters. My species evolved from herd animals. We ran from predators. We survived by running away. The idea of a creature that can chase forever, that never stops, that hunts by making prey too tired to escape. This is our oldest nightmare. And you are telling me that every human can do this? That you do it for fun?" Soyeon checked her screens. "Captain, they are scanning us again." Much deeper this time. They are looking at our muscle structure, our heart rate, our metabolism. Minji tried again to explain. Ambassador, humans stopped hunting for food thousands of years ago. We grow food now. We have farms. We do not need to hunt. Our hunting instincts are just part of our history. We are civilized beings. But you still can, Velcris said. The ability is still there. You still train your bodies to chase and hunt. You maintain these abilities even though you do not need them. Exercise keeps us healthy, Jiwan said. It is not about hunting. It is about wellness. Velcris looked at each human on the screen. How many crew members do you have? 23, Jiwan answered. And all 23 are capable of this persistence hunting? Jiwan thought about her crew. Engineers, scientists, medics, pilots. All of them did regular exercise. All of them were capable of running long distances if they needed to. Yes, all of us can run for long periods. It is normal for humans. Velcris was quiet for a long moment. Then the ambassador spoke again very carefully. Captain Kim, we need time to discuss this with the Concordat Council. Your biology is unlike anything we have encountered. We must understand what this means for galactic security. Please remain in your current position. We will contact you again soon. The screen went dark. Jiwan looked at her crew. They all seemed confused and worried. What just happened? Doyon asked. Did we do something wrong? Minji sat down slowly. I think we scared them. They are prey species. They evolved from animals that ran away from predators. We evolved from the predators. To them, we are not just different. We are the thing that their ancestors feared most. Soyeon turned from her station. But we are not dangerous. We are just people. We are scientists and explorers. We know that, Jiwan said quietly. But they don't. They look at us and see apex predators who chose to build spaceships instead of hunting. They see creatures who can chase their prey forever. They see their worst fear walking and talking and smiling at them. The bridge was silent. Outside the window, the beautiful alien ship kept changing colors. But now those lights seemed different. They looked more like warning signals than a welcome. Jiwan sat in her captain's chair and waited. First contact with alien life, and somehow humanity had managed to terrify them just by existing. She wondered what would happen next. She wondered if the galaxy was ready for humans. More importantly, she wondered if humans were ready for a galaxy that feared them. The wait began. 3 days passed before the Velthara contacted them again. 3 long days of waiting in space, wondering if humanity's first contact would also be its last. Then the message came. The Dawn's Promise was invited to visit Nexus Prime, the great diplomatic station at the heart of the Concordat. Jiwan stood at the window as their ship approached the station. She had seen pictures of amazing things in her life, but nothing like this. Nexus Prime was enormous. It looked like a city floating in space, built around a neutron star that glowed with impossible brightness. Thousands of ships moved around it like small fish around a coral reef. It is beautiful, Minji said, standing beside her. There must be millions of beings living there. At least, said Hyunwoo Nam, their new cultural attaché. He had just joined the crew, sent by Earth to help them understand alien cultures. The station is home to 300 different species. It has been here for 10,000 years. Doyon looked up from his tactical display. No weapons. The entire station has no defensive weapons, not even small ones. Why would they need weapons? Hyunwoo asked. The galaxy has been at peace for thousands of years. They have no wars, no conflicts, just trade and cooperation. Soyeon checked the docking procedures. They are directing us to Bay 47, Captain. They are asking us to leave all weapons on the ship. Jiwan nodded. Tell them we agree. We are here as guests, not soldiers. The docking was smooth. When they exited the ship, Ambassador Velcris was waiting for them with a group of other Velthara. The ambassador seemed more calm than during their first meeting, but Jiwan noticed that all the aliens kept a careful distance from the humans. Welcome to Nexus Prime, Velcris said. We have prepared a tour for you. You will see our civilization and learn our ways. The council will meet with you tomorrow. The tour was incredible. They saw gardens that grew in zero gravity, markets where aliens traded goods from 1,000 worlds, and theaters where beings of all shapes and sizes watched performances together. Everything was peaceful and organized. Everyone seemed happy, but Soyeon noticed something strange. She pulled Jiwan aside in a quiet corridor. Captain, have you noticed the doors? The doors? They do not lock. None of them. There are no security doors, no safe rooms, no emergency lockdown systems. If something bad happened, there is no way to seal off sections of the station. No way to trap an intruder or protect people. Ji-won looked around with new understanding. They have never needed such things. They cannot imagine needing them. That evening, they met with Counselor Threndis, the head of Concordate Security. He was a tall being with rough gray skin and too many eyes. He did not seem happy to meet them. Humans, Threndis said, his voice deep and harsh. I have studied your species since our first contact. I have read your history. Wars, thousands of wars. You fight each other constantly. Even now in your modern age you have conflicts, Minji spoke carefully. We have had wars, yes. But we are learning. We are getting better. We have not had a major war for many years now. We are trying to build a peaceful future. Trying, Threndis repeated. But you still have weapons. You still train soldiers. Your ship has defensive systems. You cannot imagine existing without the ability to fight. That is true, Ji-won admitted. We prepare for the possibility of conflict. It is part of who we are. And that is the problem, Threndis said. Every species in the Concordate evolved past violence. We do not fight because we cannot imagine fighting. But you can. You always can. How can we trust predators who choose to be peaceful? Choice means you can change your mind. Choice also means we can keep our promise, Hyunwoo said quietly. We choose peace every day. That makes our peace real, not just the absence of ability. Threndis made a sound that might have been laughter or anger. Beautiful words. But words are easy. I need to know what stops you from becoming dangerous. What prevents 23 humans on a ship from taking control of this station? You are predators. We are prey. Those are the facts, Minji stepped forward. Counselor, humans have laws. We have ethics. We have empathy. We care about other beings. Yes, we are capable of violence, but we are also capable of compassion. Both things exist in us at the same time. That is what worries me, Threndis said. You choose which one to use. And I cannot predict your choices. The meeting ended badly. As they walked back to their ship, Ji-won felt tired. Making friends with the galaxy was harder than she had imagined. Hyunwoo caught up with her in the corridor. Captain, may I speak with you privately? They found an empty observation deck. Through the window they could see the neutron star spinning slowly, beautiful and deadly. The council is considering rejection, Hyunwoo said quietly. I heard this from one of the cultural advisors. They are afraid of us, not just cautious, actually afraid. In 10,000 years of peace, they have never encountered a species that scares them just by existing. Ji-won leaned against the window. What do we do? We cannot change what we are. We cannot stop being predators. It is in our biology. Maybe we do not need to change, Hyunwoo said. Maybe we need to help them understand. Predators are not evil. We are just different. Different does not mean dangerous. Before Ji-won could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the station. Red lights flashed. Through the speakers, a voice announced something in a language they did not understand. But the panic in that voice was clear. Ji-won grabbed her communicator. Soyeon, what is happening? Soyeon's voice came back quickly. Captain, there are unknown ships approaching the station. They are not broadcasting friendly signals. Station security is confused. They do not know what to do. Pirates, Hyunwoo said, his face pale. They said pirates exist in the outer regions. Criminal bands that prey on peaceful traders. But they never come this far into Concordate space. Ji-won started running toward the docking bay. Hyunwoo ran beside her. Around them, aliens were moving in circles, confused and frightened. Station security guards stood at their posts, but they looked lost. They had weapons, but those weapons were small and clearly meant for ceremonial purposes, not actual fighting. They do not know how to respond to violence, Hyunwoo said, breathing hard as they ran. They have no training, no protocols. They have forgotten how to fight. They reached the docking bay just as the first explosion shook the station. Through the bay windows they could see pirate ships cutting through the outer hull. Armored figures were pouring into the station like water through broken dam. The crew of the Dawn's Promise was already there. Doyen had his tactical gear ready. Soyeon was checking systems. Minji was helping organize the confused aliens who had fled to the docks. Doyen looked at Ji-won. Captain, orders? Ji-won looked at her crew. 23 humans. No heavy weapons, no armor. Just people trained in basic security and emergency response. Around them, millions of aliens were in danger, and the galaxy's security forces did not know how to help them. She thought about Counselor Threndis's words. What stops humans from being dangerous? What prevents predators from hunting? Choice. The answer was choice. Humans could choose to be dangerous, but they could also choose to protect. Arm up, Jiwan said. We are going hunting, but not for prey, for predators who forgot that apex hunters can also be guardians. Around them, the peaceful galaxy burned, and humanity prepared to show these aliens what predators really meant. The pirates moved through Nexus Prime like wolves through sheep. They were Krelvik, a rare predator species from the Outer Rim, large, covered in thick scales with claws and teeth meant for killing. For years, they had attacked peaceful traders and stations. No one could stop them because no one remembered how to fight. Doyen checked his weapon one last time. It was a standard security pistol, designed for emergencies that no one on Earth thought would happen. Next to him, the other 22 humans were preparing. Engineers, scientists, and medic pilots. None of them were professional soldiers, but all of them knew how to fight if they had to. Remember, Jiwan said to her crew, we protect. We do not attack unless necessary. Our goal is to stop the pirates and save lives, not to prove we are dangerous. Understood, Captain, Doyen replied. He turned to the others. Teams of 4. Stay in contact. Watch each other. The corridors are narrow, so use that advantage. Move quiet. Move smart. Ambassador Velcris watched them prepare with wide, frightened eyes. You're going to fight them? But they are Krelvik. They are warriors. You are scientists. Minji smiled gently at the ambassador. We are humans. We are both things at the same time. Remember? The humans split into teams and moved into the station. Doyen led the first team through the main corridor. They could hear the pirates ahead, shouting and breaking things. They could hear aliens screaming and running. Doyen raised his hand. Stop. Silent. The team froze. Through a doorway ahead, they could see 3 Krelvik pirates. The aliens were huge, at least 7 feet tall, with armor and heavy weapons. They were laughing as they chased a group of small, furry aliens. Doyen signaled. 2 of his team moved left. 1 moved right. He stayed center. No words needed. They had trained together for years. They understood each other perfectly. The Krelvik never saw them coming. One moment, they were terrorizing helpless civilians. The next moment, 4 humans appeared from different directions. 3 quick shots. 3 pirates down. Stunned, not killed. The humans did not want to kill unless they absolutely had to. The small aliens stared at the humans in shock. Then they ran. Not toward the humans for help. Away from them. They were more afraid of the humans than they had been of the pirates. Keep moving, Doyen said quietly. His team continued through the station. In the engineering section, Soyeon was using her knowledge of station systems to help. She sealed doors behind fleeing civilians, creating safe zones. She turned off lights in sections where pirates were searching, giving aliens darkness to hide in. She rerouted life support to make some corridors too cold for the Krelvik to stay in comfortably. Soyeon, Jiwan's voice came through the communicator. Can you trap Section 7? Soyeon checked her systems. Yes, there are 12 pirates there. I can seal all the exits. But Captain, they will be trapped inside with about 50 civilians. Do it. We will go in and get the civilians out. Soyeon worked fast. Doors slid shut with heavy clicks. The pirates in Section 7 realized they were trapped. They started trying to break the doors, but station doors were built strong. They would need time. Jiwan's team entered through a maintenance tunnel. They crawled through narrow spaces that the large Krelvik could never fit through. When they emerged inside Section 7, they were behind the pirates. The civilians were huddled in a corner, crying and shaking. The pirates were arguing about what to do. Then Jiwan stepped out of the shadows. Leave them alone, she said calmly. The Krelvik turned. When they saw a human woman much smaller than them, they laughed. The biggest one pointed his weapon at her. You should have stayed on your ship, little prey. I am not prey, Jiwan said. Her team appeared from other maintenance tunnels. 12 pirates, 6 humans. The odds looked bad for the humans. But the humans were not worried. The big Krelvik charged at Jiwan. He was fast for his size. But Jiwan was faster. She moved like water, dodging to the side. As he passed, she struck at his knee. Not hard enough to break it, but hard enough to make him stumble. He crashed into a wall. The other pirates attacked. The fight was quick and brutal. The Krelvik were strong and armored, but the humans were quick and coordinated. They moved like they were one creature with many bodies. They never got in each other's way. They always knew where the others were, and they never stopped moving. Every time a pirate thought he had a human cornered, that human was already somewhere else. The Krelvik were breathing hard after 2 minutes. After 5 minutes, they were exhausted. After 10 minutes, they were on the ground, too tired to fight anymore. Persistence hunting. Not with weapons. With endurance. The humans had simply outlasted them. In the medical bay, Jihoon the medic was treating injured aliens when a group of pirates broke in. They wanted medical supplies and hostages. They found Jihoon standing between them and his patients. "Move or die," the lead pirate said. Jihoon did not move. "These beings are hurt. I will not let you harm them more." The pirate raised his weapon. Then he looked into Jihoon's eyes and stopped. There was something there, something that made the pirate's instincts scream danger. This small, unarmed medic looked at him with the calm certainty of a predator protecting its territory. "You are human," the pirate said slowly. "Yes." The pirate backed away. He had heard stories. New stories spreading fast through the station. Stories about small beings who moved like ghosts and fought like demons. Stories about persistence hunters who never gave up, never got tired, never showed fear. The pirates left the medical bay. Jihoon went back to treating his patients. His hands were steady. He was a medic. But he was also human. He could be both. The battle for Nexus Prime lasted 3 hours. When it ended, all the pirates were captured or had fled. Not a single civilian died. The station was saved. War leader Krivax, the commander of the pirate fleet, was brought before Jiwan. He was in chains, surrounded by station security. But his eyes were only on Jiwan. "You are the human captain," he said. I am Krelvik. We are apex predators. We have ruled the Outer Rim for generations. No one could stop us." He looked at her with something like respect. "But you stopped us. With 23 beings. 23? "We did what was necessary," Jiwan said. Krivax laughed, a harsh sound. "The galaxy thinks they are safe because they are civilized. Because they gave up violence. But they were only safe because no one like us came to test them. Until now." He leaned forward. "But now you are here. Apex hunters who chose to protect instead of prey. What does that make you?" Jiwan thought about the question. "It makes us human," she said finally. "We are predators. But we are predators who decided that protecting the weak is more important than hunting them. We are the only species where an unarmed civilian and a deadly hunter are the same being. That is not a curse. It is a gift. And a responsibility." Krivax nodded slowly. "I surrender to a superior predator. I offer no resistance. This is our way." As they took the war leader away, Counselor Threndis approached Jiwan. The old security chief looked tired and thoughtful. "You saved us," he said quietly. "I was wrong about humans. You are dangerous, but you are dangerous to those who would harm the innocent. That makes you something we have never had before. Guardians." Jiwan looked around at the station. Aliens were coming out of hiding. They looked at the humans with fear, yes, but also with gratitude. And maybe, just maybe, with the beginning of trust. The galaxy had learned something important today. Predators were not evil. They were just different. And sometimes the thing you feared most could become the thing that saved you. The emergency council meeting began 3 hours after the last pirate was captured. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. They all wanted to talk about the humans. Some voices were grateful. Others were afraid. Many were both. Jiwan stood in the center of the hall with her crew around her. She felt very small. The hall was designed for thousands of beings, and the architecture made her feel like an insect. Maybe that was the point. High Counselor Mathara entered the hall. The ancient being moved slowly, supported by floating platforms. Mathara was old, maybe thousands of years old, from a species that lived almost forever. The High Counselor had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. Those ancient eyes now studied the humans carefully. "Humans of Earth," Mathara said, and the voice was like wind through old trees. "You have done us a great service. You saved many lives today. For that, the Concordat thanks you." "We did what anyone would do," Jiwan replied. "But no one else did," Counselor Threndis said, standing. That is the problem and the solution at the same time. No one else could do what you did. We have become soft. We have forgotten how to defend ourselves. Today proved that, a voice called out from the assembly. They also proved they are dangerous. 23 individuals defeated over 100 armed warriors. What if they decide to turn on us? What if they become the threat? Other voices joined in. The hall filled with argument. Fear and gratitude fought each other in words. Jiwan listened to them debate her species like she was not even there. Finally, High Counselor Mathara raised one thin hand. Silence fell immediately. Captain Kim, I will give you the opportunity to speak. Tell us why we should not fear your kind. Jiwan took a deep breath. She had prepared a speech, careful words about peace and cooperation and friendship. But standing there, looking at thousands of frightened faces, she knew those words would not work. They needed truth, not diplomacy. You should fear us, she said. The hall went completely silent. Even Mathara looked surprised. You should fear us, Jiwan repeated, because we are dangerous. We are apex predators. We are capable of terrible violence. Anyone who tells you different is lying. Yes, 23 humans stopped 100 pirates. We could do much worse if we wanted to. That is the truth. Voices rose in alarm. Counselor Threndis looked vindicated. But Jiwan was not finished. But here is the other truth, she continued, her voice strong and clear. We do not want to. Being capable of violence does not mean we desire it. Humans have been killing each other for thousands of years. We have had terrible wars. We have done horrible things to our own kind. But we learned, we grew, we evolved. Dr. Yoonji Han, the ship's psychologist, stepped forward. She had asked to speak, and Jiwan had agreed. Yoonji looked at the assembly with calm, steady eyes. I study the human mind, Yoonji said. I want to explain something about how we think. You evolved from prey animals. Your instinct when faced with danger is to run or hide. This is good. This kept your ancestors alive. But humans evolved differently. Our instinct is to fight or to protect. Both options are always in our minds. She walked to the center of the hall. Every day, every human makes choices. We choose not to hurt others. We choose to follow laws. We choose to be kind. You think this makes us unpredictable and dangerous. But I say it makes us more reliable, not less. How can that be? Someone called out. You just said you choose. Choice means you can change your minds. Yes, Yoonji agreed. But think about what that means. You do not hurt others because you cannot. You are not capable of serious violence. So your peace costs you nothing. But human peace costs us something every day. We give up our ability to use violence. We choose not to hunt even though we can. That choice has meaning. That choice has weight, Hyunwoo spoke next. Let me share something from human culture. He held up a tablet showing images of Earth. This is a human hospital. We build places dedicated to healing. This is a human school where we teach children not to fight. This is a human court where we punish those who use violence. We have built an entire civilization around controlling our violent instincts. He showed more images. This is human art, music, literature, poetry. We create beauty. We write stories about heroes who protect the weak. We celebrate those who choose mercy over violence. Our entire culture is built on the idea that being strong means protecting others, not hurting them. Minji added her voice. Today you saw humans fight, but you should also know what we did not do. We did not kill a single pirate. We could have. It would have been easier. But we chose to capture them instead. We chose the harder path because we value life, even the lives of those who wanted to hurt you. The hall was quieter now. The aliens were listening, really listening. Jiwan spoke again. You have lived in peace for 10,000 years. That is beautiful, but it is also fragile. Today proved that. The pirates came and you could not stop them. You have forgotten that peace must sometimes be defended. You have forgotten that safety requires guardians. And you want to be these guardians? High Counselor Mathara asked. We offer to be, Jiwan said. Not because we want power. Not because we want to rule. But because we understand something you have forgotten. Peace is not the absence of violence. Peace is the choice not to use violence even when you can. We can protect you because we remember how to fight. But we will protect you because we choose mercy over cruelty. A long silence filled the hall. Finally, Mathara spoke. You offer us a gift and a burden. The gift of protection, the burden of trust. You ask us to trust predators. This is not easy for prey species. We know, G1 said softly. We do not expect your trust immediately. We will earn it. Day by day, Choice by choice, we will show you that predators can be protectors. Mithera looked at Counselor Threndis. What do you say, old friend? You have been the most concerned about the humans. Threndis stood slowly. He looked at Jiwan for a long moment. They saved my life today. I was in Section 12 when the pirates attacked. A human named Soyeon sealed the doors and protected us. She could have left us to die. She chose to save us instead. He took a deep breath. I vote to accept them. With conditions. They will serve as defenders of the Concordat. They will train our security forces. They will patrol our space, but they will do so under our laws, with our oversight. The vote took hours. In the end, the decision was made. Humanity would be accepted into the Concordat, but they would have a special role. They would be the guardian species, the ones who remembered how to fight so others did not have to. After the meeting, Ji-won stood alone in the observation deck, looking at the stars. Hyunwoo found her there. Are you okay, Captain? I just committed humanity to being the galaxy's protectors, Ji-won said. That is a big responsibility. It is what we are good at, Hyunwoo said. We are the only species that can be both civilian and warrior, both scientist and soldier, both poet and protector. That is not a curse. It is our gift to the galaxy, Ji-won smiled. I hope you are right. I hope we can live up to this. We will, Hyunwoo said with certainty, because that is what humans do. We choose to be better than our instincts, every single day. Outside the window, Nexus Prime glowed with renewed light. The station was recovering. Life was returning to normal. And at the heart of it all, humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as prey, but as guardians who chose protection over predation, the choice that defined them. 3 years had passed since the attack on Nexus Prime. 3 years since humanity accepted its role as the guardian species. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed it. Admiral Ji-won Kim stood on the bridge of her new ship, the Horizon Guardian. It was much larger than the Dawn's Promise, built by a collaboration between human engineers and alien designers. It was fast, strong, and carried weapons that she hoped would never need to be used. Admiral, we are receiving a request from the Velthara merchant convoy, said the communications officer. They want to thank us for the escort, Ji-won smiled. 3 years ago, Velthara merchants would have been terrified to have human ships near them. Now they requested human escorts. Times had changed indeed. On Earth, Commander Doyeon Choi walked through the Guardian Academy. Young beings from dozens of species trained here, learning security and defense from human instructors. It was strange to see a Velthara learning combat techniques, or a peaceful Mitharian practicing tactical thinking. But they were learning. Slowly, the galaxy was remembering how to defend itself. A young human recruit approached Doyeon. Taejin Kang was only 19, fresh from basic training. He looked nervous. Commander, may I ask you something? Of course, Taejin. Do they ever stop being afraid of us? The young man looked around at the alien students. I see how they look at me. With respect, yes. But also with fear. Will it always be like this? Doyeon put a hand on Taejin's shoulder. Some fear will always be there. We are different from them. We are predators in a galaxy of prey. But fear is not always bad. Fear means respect. Fear means they understand our capabilities. What matters is what we do with those capabilities. We use them to protect, not to threaten. That is what turns fear into trust. On Nexus Prime, Ambassador Minji Park sat in a cafe with several alien diplomats. They were discussing trade agreements and cultural exchanges, normal diplomatic work. But 3 years ago, none of these aliens would have shared a meal with a human. Ambassador Park, said a small Feltorian diplomat, I want to thank you personally. Your people patrol the trade routes near my homeworld. Piracy has almost disappeared. My people can trade safely now. We can visit other worlds without fear. Minji smiled warmly. That is what we are here for, to help keep the peace. But some say you have become too powerful, another diplomat said carefully. They say humans control too much. That the Guardians have become wardens, Minji nodded. She had heard these concerns before. It is a fair worry. Power can corrupt. That is why we accept oversight from the Concordat Council. That is why we train other species to defend themselves. That is why we publish all our patrol routes and weapon counts. We want to be transparent. We want you to trust us, but we also want to earn that trust every day. But not everyone was convinced. In a private chamber, Counselor Threndis met with a group of concerned politicians. They called themselves the Independence Coalition. They wanted the Concordat to become less dependent on human protection. "The humans saved us," the leader of the coalition said. "But now we are like children who need constant protection. We should learn to defend ourselves. We should not need them anymore." Threndis listened carefully. "What you say has merit. But remember, the humans are teaching us. The Guardian Academy trains thousands of beings. In another generation, we will have our own defenders, human and non-human working together. But will humans give up power when that time comes?" Threndis thought about the question. 3 years ago, he had been the most suspicious of humans. Now he knew them better. "Yes," he said finally. "I believe they will, because that is what they have shown us. They are predators who chose to be protectors, and protectors know when to step back." The real test came when a colony world called Rethys 7 faced a natural disaster. A massive volcano was about to erupt, threatening millions of lives. Human ships arrived to help with evacuation, but the colonial government refused. "We do not want human help," the colonial governor announced. "We will handle this ourselves." Ambassador Minji was sent to negotiate. She met with the governor in person. The elderly alien looked at her with distrust. "Why do you refuse our help?" Minji asked gently. "People will die without evacuation." "Because you are predators," the governor said bluntly. "I have lived a long life. I remember the old stories. Stories of what predators do to prey. You say you are here to help. But what if you decide to stay? What if you decide our world is now under your control?" Minji sat down slowly. "Governor, I understand your fear. I truly do. But let me tell you something about humans. We know we are frightening. We know we are dangerous. That is exactly why we built rules for ourselves. That is why we accept oversight. That is why we publish all our actions and submit to concordant law." "Words," the governor said. "Just words." "Then let me offer proof," Minji said. "We will help evacuate your people. When the crisis is over, we will leave immediately. We will not ask for payment. We will not ask for political favors. We will not establish any permanent presence. You will record everything we do. If we break our promise in any way, you can report us to the Concordat and demand our removal from Guardian service." The governor studied her face for a long time. "And if I still say no?" Minji felt her heart break a little. "Then we will respect your choice. We will stay at the edge of your system in case you change your mind. But we will not force our help on you. That is not what Guardians do." The volcano erupted 3 hours later. The colonial emergency services tried their best, but they were overwhelmed. Ships could not evacuate everyone fast enough. Thousands were in danger. The governor sent the call for help. Human ships moved in immediately. They worked alongside colonial vessels, coordinating rescue efforts. Young Taijin Kang piloted a rescue shuttle, making trip after trip to the surface. His hands were steady even as the ground shook beneath them. An elderly Rethesian woman grabbed his arm as he helped her onto the shuttle. She looked into his eyes. This human youth who had just saved her life. "Thank you," she whispered. "I was wrong about your kind," Taijin smiled. "You were not wrong to be careful. You were just wrong about what we would choose to do." The evacuation succeeded. Not a single life was lost. And true to their word, human ships left Rethys 7 as soon as the crisis ended. They did not ask for anything. They did not stay. They protected and then they left. The story spread across the galaxy. Slowly, fear began to transform into something else. Not complete trust, perhaps, but understanding, respect, the beginning of true acceptance. Counselor Threndis requested a meeting with Admiral Jiwan Kim. They met in his office on Nexus Prime. The old counselor looked tired but content. "I need your help," Threndis said. "There is a dangerous mission to the Outer Rim. Pirates have established a base near the border. We need someone to investigate and, if possible, shut them down. I am formally requesting human assistance." Jiwan looked at the counselor who had once wanted humanity quarantined. Now he was asking for their help. "We will do it," she said. "When do we leave?" Threndis stood and did something unexpected. He extended his hand in the human gesture of friendship. Jiwan shook it, feeling the strange texture of his skin. "I want you to know," Threndis said, "that I was wrong about your species, not about your capabilities. I was right about that. You are dangerous, but I was wrong about what that means. Dangerous does not mean evil. Sometimes the most dangerous beings are the ones you most want on your side." Jiwan smiled. "We are predators, counselor. But we are predators who decided that the greatest hunt is not for prey. It is for justice, for safety, for peace. That is the only hunt worth pursuing. Later, Taijin Kang stood on the bridge of his first assignment, a patrol ship protecting a merchant route. He watched a convoy of alien ships pass safely through his sector. They flashed lights in thanks. Some even sent personal messages of gratitude. He thought about his question to Commander Doyun. Do they ever stop being afraid? He understood now. Some fear would always remain. Humans were unique in the galaxy. They were the only species where an unarmed civilian and a deadly hunter were the same person. The same being who could write poetry could also fight with deadly efficiency, but that was not a curse. It was humanity's gift. They remembered violence so others could forget it. They maintained the capacity for war so that peace could flourish. They were dangerous so that the innocent could be safe. Fear and trust. Both existed together, and maybe that was right. Maybe being trusted without any fear would mean they had become harmless, and harmless guardians could not protect anyone. Taijin looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans were patrolling trade routes, teaching security classes, rescuing colonists, hunting pirates, being scientists and soldiers, diplomats and defenders, civilians and warriors all at the same time, because that was what it meant to be human, to carry both peace and power, to choose every day which one to use. To be the only species in the galaxy where those choices define them more than their biology. The guardian species, not because they were born to protect, but because they chose to, and that made all the difference.